Has anyone ever tried to make you feel like you weren't smart enough, or not good looking enough, or not popular enough? Being rejected is one of the worst feelings that we can have. Nobody wants to be left out or overlooked. Everybody wants to feel accepted. We all want to be liked and loved by somebody, especially our friends and family. When I was a teenager, I dreamed that one day I would be a tennis pro. I joined the tennis team in high school. I practiced every day. I got paired up with a really good player, and we became the #1 doubles team at our school. When I was growing up, my dad always used to call me Ace. I always liked this nickname, but I especially liked it when I became a tennis player, because in tennis, an ace is when you serve the ball so well that your opponent can't return it. Ace is a perfect nickname for a tennis player. Normally, my dad wasn't able to come to my tennis matches because they were always when he was at work. But I remember this one time that he was able to come. I got up to serve the ball, and I thought, I'm gonna ace this. I bounced the ball 3 times, tossed it into the air, swung my racket, and the ball went out of bounds. But luckily, in tennis, you get 2 chances on every serve. So I got another ball, bounced it 3 times, tossed it into the air, swung my racket, and I faulted again. I lost the point. In tennis, this is called a double fault. I don't know if I was nervous because my dad was there or what was wrong, but I ended up getting a double fault probably 10 times that day. And even though we ended up winning the match, it was a tough day for me. Later that day when I got home, I was talking to my dad about the tennis match, and that's when he said, well, I don't think we can call you Ace anymore. From now on, you're gonna be double fault. He was just trying to be funny, and I knew that he loved me, but still those words stung. Double fault. I still remember those words today. You've probably been stung by the words of someone else. You may have faced rejection that is much worse than being called double fault. Rejection is painful. And if we don't know what to do with it, rejection can be a giant in our lives. In the story of David and Goliath, we all know that David was the winner. But before the battle with Goliath ever happened, David got rejected 3 different times. The first time was when David was bringing supplies to his brothers. David started asking questions about what was going on, and his older brother, Eliab, got angry at him. The scriptures say that Eliab burned with anger, and he asked, why have you come down here? If you back up on the story, there's a reason that Eliab was so cruel to his younger brother David. Eliab had also been rejected by someone else who favored David. Sometimes we get rejected by other people because they are feeling rejected. The second time David got rejected was when he told King Saul that he wanted to fight Goliath. King Saul said, you don't have a chance against him. You're only a boy and he's been a soldier his whole life. Basically, he was telling David that he wasn't good enough. He wasn't big enough. He wasn't strong enough. Saul didn't believe that David could beat a giant. It's really hurtful when someone doesn't believe in you. And then the third time was when David first met Goliath. David was small compared to a giant, and Goliath was offended that the Israelites would even send him out to fight. Goliath yelled at them, am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? That's an ugly way of saying that David is basically a chew toy. First, David gets rejected because his older brother feels rejected. Second, David gets rejected by Saul because he's too young. And then third, David gets rejected by Goliath because he's too small. David, he felt a lot of rejection, but he didn't let it stop him. David understood something very powerful. Even though he wasn't accepted by everyone, David knew he was accepted by God. He knew that because God had made him, he was already loved. He was already valuable to God. And guess what? So are you. You are valuable to God. He likes you. He loves you. He created you on purpose. Have you ever been in a team game at school and you didn't get picked like you'd hoped? That doesn't feel very good. But guess what? The God of the universe has picked you. God chose you. You don't have to do or be something special to earn His acceptance. Jesus has already accepted you. And when we truly realize that, we are able to reject rejection. God wants to be glorified through your life. And because of that, rejection must fall.